What mental health means to me as an African American, I like to use word associations. So, one word that comes to mind is freedom. Freedom from the hardships and some of the devastations that we've experienced as an African American or African Americans. I know we've gone through a lot of hardships throughout our lives, especially historical events as well as current events. Some we see it all over the news, some of the hardships that we go through. So being able to reach out and embrace that freedom is liberating. It gives you a sense of empowerment. So that's what mental health means for me, is having a sense of freedom in your mental health or within yourself.
Okay, to me it means about being open about mental health and realizing that we have feelings inside that we no longer need to keep inside. We can be open about our issues instead of trying to pretend to be strong about them.
Mental health to me as an African American means I feel like it's an outlet. A lot of the traumas and stressors that I face throughout my life, I'm able to speak with my therapist on those topics and get their point of view, their perspective, and just being able to have someone relate. And it's an outlet, it's an outpouring for me.
Mental health for me as a Black person means everything, especially because of the work that I do. I have to make sure that I'm okay and I have a steady mind to be able to be steady and ready to help people and be here for our community. Mental health is also something you should take that to be really important for yourself, because without that you really can't function.
If I could share a message to the African American community in hopes to reduce stigma, it kind of goes back to what I was just saying about freedom. There is nothing wrong with reaching out to a psychiatrist, a therapist, especially when you feel like you're in chains or in bondage when it comes to your mental health. You might be asking questions about, why am I experiencing this? Why do I feel this way? And to me, I feel like that's a way of still being in chains and in bondage when it comes to our mental health. So reaching out to a therapist, a psychiatrist, someone that you can embrace, or someone you can pour out those feelings to, is freedom. It is, like I said earlier, liberation. It is empowerment. It is enlightenment. I know personally, when I was a youth, I was, taught some ideologies that, you don't reach out to a therapist, you don't reach out to a psychiatrist. But now, being an adult and being able to see the people that we serve and see how important services are to individuals, I tell everyone, yeah, I might have learned that when I was a kid, but it doesn't mean it was necessarily, I'm not gonna say it was correct, because I learned some really great tools when I was a kid, but it's okay to have what you believe, and as well as a psychiatrist or a therapist. So reach out, speak to someone, and claim your freedom. Freedom is not always a physical thing, it's a mental thing as well. So
I would say go ahead and be open about mental health, and especially if you feel you have a mental illness, it is okay to not be strong. If you feel like you have issues, go ahead and seek help. Being African American and also being a male, we have this issue of needing to put on this exterior of being the tough guy all the time, and sometimes that prevents us from getting the help that we need.
One of the stigmas that I feel needs to be addressed is mental health is not negative. It's not just for people that suffer severe mental illnesses. We can seek mental health for those severe mental illnesses, also just for growth within ourselves. And like I said before, it's an outlet. My personal experience with that, I grew up in a home with an aunt who has a severe mental illness, and there was a stigma in our household, and she was looked at very negatively. In my eyes, seeing a psychologist, it was for quote unquote crazy people, but it's for everyone. I believe everyone will benefit from mental health.
I would say that it's okay to not be okay. A lot of the times, I can speak a lot for Black women, our goal is to be resilient and to be strong and to be powerful, and that's a lot of what society pushes on us. But it's not always that way, and it's okay to be vulnerable, and it's okay to not be okay, and to take the steps to make yourself to where you are okay in your own eyes and not everyone else's.